Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over an article titled, I Can't Meet a Decent Guy to Save My Life. Just crappy guys everywhere. WTF. And guys, this whole article is about a young woman, because you can tell by the way she writes this, she's young, no doubt in her 20s. She spends the whole article complaining that there are essentially no good men out there, that every single guy that she either goes out with, dates, gets involved with, or simply meets is a crappy guy. Basically every single guy out there is a jerk. And guys, we all know that that's simply not true. I've lived long enough on this planet. I've lived in enough places, traveled enough places to know most guys are actually very good guys. It's actually the opposite, where a lot of women now in this day and age are crappy women, thanks to a lot of the things I talk about in my videos. Again, not all, but a lot, right? But most guys are good guys. But yes, you do have some guys out there that are definitely what you would categorize as crappy guys or jerks, But as you see, as I go through this, guys, and what you're going to see here, and the point of this article and this video I'm doing here, is to see that in life, it's so much easier for people to point the finger at everybody else than to actually take a look at yourself, have some self-reflection, if you will, and say, you know what? I keep seeming to be attracting the wrong kind of people in my life. People that I date, people that I get involved with, friends, associates, employees, whatever. Maybe it's time to take a look at myself to see what I'm doing that's causing myself to kind of bring those people into my world, so to speak. Or what are some things I'm doing that to cause them to behave and treat me in a certain way? It's easier to point the finger at everybody else and blame them than has some accountability, okay? Now, again, don't get me wrong. There are some people that just simply are jerks, and you're going to come across them no matter where you are and what you do. But just to blame everybody else is ridiculous. But again, it's a lot easier. And you can definitely tell as I go through this, guys, you're going to see that she obviously has a low opinion of herself, okay? And she obviously has a low opinion of herself because she keeps attracting those people in her life. But again, it's much easier to blame everybody else. And literally, this whole article is a lot like a typical song where the women are whining about the bad boys and the guys that treat them like crap, when in reality, we all know most guys simply aren't like that. So I'm going to go into this and I'll point things out along the way. Starts off, I'll be the first to admit that I'm pretty bitter when it comes to my dating life. Gee, you think? I'm normally an optimist, but years of going out with too many douchebags have left me weary and, yes, a bit frustrated. I have my fingers crossed I'll be able to be a bit more cheery about finding love in the future. But for now, this is why the dating scene has brought me out the most negative side in me. Number 1, I'm constantly taken advantage of. I have a naturally generous and trusting nature, and unfortunately, that seems to attract the wrong type of guys. Rather than appreciating my kinder, softer side, pretty much every dude I date just uses it to their advantage, manipulating and betraying me until I regret being a decent human being. Okay, well, in that situation, that stinks. I agree. But one has to take a look at the situation is, what type of guy does she find herself being attracted to and start getting involved with that treat her that way? It is, the most common situation you hear about all the time is the nice girl falling for the bad boy and getting hurt, okay? Now, most women by a certain age, definitely by their time, their late teens, by college, your average woman that's decent looking can pretty much pick out a guy that's, a jerk a mile away. And they can also pick out the typical vanilla nice guy. But no matter how much you have girls complain about the jerks and the bad boys and all that, regardless, emotionally, they're still attracted to personality traits that those guys have, okay? The swagger, the confidence, the I don't give a crap attitude, the fact that those guys don't kiss their asses and put them on a pedestal. Meanwhile, the nice guys do the exact opposite. So, you hear the complaints all the time about guys like this, but these same girls always end up going for these same types. So there's a point where, you can't feel sorry in any way, shape, or form for women like this that keep going out the same type of guy. You're going to get the same result every time. So stop thinking that, it's going to be different with this guy, because women know what they're getting into. I mean, let's be honest here. And again, how many guys have had the same thing happen to them from women? Number 2, honesty seems to be a thing of the past. I don't ask for much, but even something as basic as telling the truth appears to be too much for a lot of guys to handle. They tell me they want a relationship when they really just want to hook up. That I'm the only girl they're seeing when I'm really just a side chick. And that I have nothing to worry about when really I do. I can handle the truth, really, but no one seems to be willing to give it to me. She may say she may be able to handle the truth in terms of the guy's just looking for hookups as opposed to relationship, but I think in terms of the truth about who she is and what she may do to attract a certain type of guy or turn them away, I'm willing to bet you she's not willing to be able to handle. Hence the putting the blame on everybody else. And there are definitely, in this day and age, there's a lot of dishonesty, but guess what? It goes both ways. How many guys have had so many women lie to them consistently about pretty much everything? Again, it's not all women, but a lot do it. So you can't just make it out that all guys are like that. That's nonsense. Next one, they never reveal their bad side right away. Even when I meet someone who seems like a good fit for me, I still have to keep my guard up. After all, jerks rarely show that they're jerks right off the bat. They play the good guy role until they know you've gotten attached and are less likely to kick them out of your life. And most other women don't try to find these jerks. I just fall for knights in shining armor who turn out to be villains in disguise. I call bullshit on that because, believe me, you can usually tell these type of guys from a mile away. Any guy can tell these guys a mile away, and let's be honest, most women at a certain point can pick these guys out too. Most of these guys don't come off as the knight in shining armor, Prince Charming types, but really are the bad boy, Chad and Tyrones, if you will, in disguise. Some guys do that, but most don't. It's pretty obvious. And again, you can tell by their personality, the way they carry themselves, the I don't give a crap attitude. It's pretty obvious. Next one. I'm always just a rest stop on the way to someone better. We all deserve to be our partner's number one choice, but the guys I find have a tendency to treat me like a backup plan. It's like they're so scared of being alone or not getting laid that they have no qualms about acting like they're crazy about me and then dumping me for the woman who really was their first choice all along. I hate feeling like a consolation prize in the dating game. Well, in that case, then don't be the consolation prize. And it's a possibility that maybe they were attracted to you in the beginning, but then personality traits that this woman had turned them off. She has to take a look at that and take that into account. But again, it's easier to point the finger at them and say all guys are jerks. Number 6, phony care is just a tool used to get sex. Is it really so hard to say I just want sex if you just want sex? I'm out here looking for something deep and meaningful, and I met too many douchebags who've led me to believe that I'll find it with them when they're really just stringing me along the whole time. I refuse to sleep with guys I don't have feelings for, and it's like these jerks can sense that just by being around me. So of course, they work to get me to catch feelings for them, then peace out once they've got what they wanted in bed. Scumbags. Well, although it's not exactly the same, it's kind of similar where how many women have gone out with guys that they really had no interest in at all, but were more than happy to have the guys take them out to dinner, buy them expensive dinners, gifts, all that, things like that for a while, when they really didn't have much interest in them at all, or in some cases, no interest. Sure, it's not the same as sex, but the point is, it goes both ways in terms of people using one another. But again, boils down to, what is she putting out in the world? What energy is she putting out to attract these type of people? And what does she find herself attracted to? It's impossible for me to believe that in her life she's never been around good guys. And I'm not even talking about the blue pill, beta male, butt kissing guys, just guys are good guys but have some things going for them. I think she's attracted to a certain type but doesn't want to put the blame on her. Number 7, there are way too many sexist, racist, and plain psychos out there. I don't need Prince Charming. Bullshit. I just want a normal, halfway decent man. I had no idea that there were so many guys out there who still think racial slurs and sexist comments are still acceptable in 2017. This is obviously 4 years old. I know truly good men out there, but all I've ever seemed to find are the ones who seem to have time traveled from 1950. Do I put out the vibe that I want these jerks or what? Yes. I guarantee you that's what's going on. She does put out a vibe, and she's attracted to those types. But notice what she just said a little bit earlier. I'm going to read it again. She said, I know truly good men are out there. Okay, then start dating those guys. What's wrong with them? Well, we all know what's wrong with them. For her. Number 8. It's always my fault when a guy screws me over. I'm too clingy, or too distant, or too opinionated, or too passive. Jerks will find any excuse they can to take the blame off themselves. Because that would mean they have to live with the guilt of their subpar behavior. I try to date men, but all I can find are overgrown little boys who point fingers instead of admitting that they were wrong. It's so ridiculously frustrating. What is this whole article about? Her pointing the finger at all men out there and saying they're in the wrong and she's in the right. This thing here, she's complaining and saying that the jerks will find any excuse to blame others, but what is she doing this entire article? Not once has there been anything her saying, maybe it's me, maybe I need to take a look at myself in terms of the energy I'm putting out there, the vibe, or I'm attracted to the wrong guy. She's pointing the finger. Number 9, I'm tired of being used to make other girls jealous. I think at this point she's just trying to pick things out of her ass just to write down and vent about. Sometimes it's an ex, sometimes it's a stranger across the bar. But there always seems to be another woman in the picture when a guy makes a move on me. They lean on me and make me think that they're really interested in me, but the reality is they just want a specific someone to see them with another girl. It's a terrible thing to do, not only to me, but also to women they're trying to make jealous. So in the history of relationships, since men crawled out of the cave or came out of the Garden of Eden or whatever you want to call it, is this the first time that no woman has ever deliberately used a guy to make another guy jealous or whatever? That's never happened? I beg to differ. Doesn't make it right on either side, but it isn't just guys that pull this type of crap. And again, what does this say about her? Okay, I really think that this woman has a really, really low opinion of herself, very low self-esteem, and as a byproduct of that, she naturally attracts people in her life that will reinforce the views that she has about herself. She allows people to treat her that way, okay? Because believe me, if she had a high self-esteem, if she saw herself as a prize and had self-respect, people like that would not last in her life. But they wouldn't be dumping her, she'd be dumping them. But it's the other way around. So guys, if you go around feeling like crap about yourself and you invite people in like that, you're going to get exactly what you see yourself as. So don't be that way. You got to have a self-respect, a self-love, if you will. And believe me, those people will become less and less in your life. They're still going to show up, but you also can cast them out once you can see these things coming. Number 10, even proper breakups seem like too much effort nowadays. The least a dude could do after treating me like crap is give me the kindness of a real breakup. But that's hard work. Instead, I end up getting ghosted, breadcrumbed, or blocked out of nowhere. It's borderline fascinating how some guys can make such a crappy situation even worse, but it doesn't even surprise me anymore. Well, I guarantee you there's plenty of guys watching this right now that have been broken up from a girl by text, or have been ghosted or breadcrumbed or blocked just out of nowhere, and he didn't think anything was wrong. So again, it isn't just guys that do these type of things, but again, back to the type of guys that she attracts. Number 11, guys like the idea of me more than the real me. I can acknowledge I'm a catch while admitting that I have a lot of flaws. A lot of men seem to like me based on my paper qualities, like my appearance or job or hobbies. But as soon as they find out that I'm not completely perfect, they run for the hills. It's made me scared to be myself around anyone for fear that my personality really is repulsive. Well, it's probably likely she has some traits that turn some guys off, but guess what? I guarantee there's going to be other guys that would find her traits endearing. But again, she attracts a certain type and she's attracted to a certain type. So my advice to her, if she was contacting me, or any guy that's in a situation that any guy watching this that feels they seem to do the same thing, keep attracting women in their lives, these are guys that want to date and pick up in relationships and all that, take a long, hard look at yourself And a lot of people don't want to do that, but do that and say, what am I doing? What am I doing that could be turning a lot of these people off or causing them to treat me in a certain way? Am I allowing this bad behavior? Really take a good look. And you may find that there are traits that you're doing that's not so good. So you want to really look at yourself and then begin to correct those things. And a lot of those things aren't going to happen overnight, but they will take time. But simply this situation, like her, just blaming all guys and saying all guys are jerks and that's it. I can't find any guy because of that. That's just nonsense. That's just taking the easy way out, no accountability, and that's ridiculous. And so she's going to guarantee, until she does that, she's going to keep attracting people like this into her life. And it won't be just in terms of guys that she date. I'm willing to bet you that like her so-called friends are probably like this as well towards her. I bet you her family's like this towards her. I bet the people that she's her coworkers, because when you do that, it isn't just going to become romantic partners. It's going to be across the board. So you got to start really having some self-respect for who you are, and also accept the fact that not everybody's going to like you. Not everybody likes me. Not everybody wants to date me. Not everybody wants to work with me. But that's okay. I don't take it personally because I don't fit with everybody else. But that doesn't mean I see myself less. That's all. So anyhow, guys, that was an interesting one to go over. Again, talking about accountability and taking a look at oneself to improve oneself. So, all right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.